Hello, good morning. Today I'm going to show you how to make the easiest sandwich bread that you've ever made. Ingredients you're going to need today are sugar, or sometimes I like to use honey, bread flour, some yeast. This is a new yeast, so I hope the recipe comes out. Instant yeast, some butter, 2 tablespoons of butter, and then you'll also need a separate stick of butter so that way you can use it to go over your bread when the bread is cooling down. 1 cup of water and 3/4 a cup of white milk. I use whole milk. You can use any kind of milk that you like. I've never tried using plant-based milk, so the tools that you'll need for today are stand mixer, or you can use your hand, flour, sackcloth, or a regular kitchen towel, some measuring utensils, or bread scraper. You can also just use your hands to pull the bread in half if you want. And then you'll need a measuring glass or a bowl to warm up your liquids. There's one more tool that you will need. You will need a kitchen scale. This is the other kind of towel that you can use. I'm gonna warm up my milk and water together. You need to have a little bit of warmth so your yeast can become activated. So I do about 30 seconds since that one's almost room temperature, and then I'll check to see if it's warm enough by touching the side of the glass. If not, we'll heat it up again for 10 more seconds and just watch it closely so it doesn't get too hot. If it does get too hot, just let it cool down a bit. Just gonna use half of this tablespoon. Also, if you do not like the taste of yeast that much, I would recommend that you just use half a tablespoon and just allow the bread more time to double rise. And check my milk. It's still kind of cold. Okay. It's about 105 degrees, 110, a little bit warmer than lukewarm. Now you can add either 2 tablespoons of your honey or liquid sweetener, or 2 tablespoons of your sugar. Today I'm gonna use regular cane sugar. Sometimes I do 1 tablespoon of cane sugar and 1 tablespoon of honey, but today I'm just going to be using sugar. Now you can just pour this in. There's one ingredient I almost forgot, and I have just enough. Salt. You need salt. If not, your bread is going to taste dull. Need salt, okay? So the salt goes in last so it doesn't kill the yeast. So now you're going to tare your scale out to 0. And you're going to add in 1 pound and 4.5 ounces of bread flour. Okay, make sure it's on the right units and it's on 0. So just adding it right in. It doesn't look like a pound. I have more, don't worry. 1 pound, 4.5. So now you need to melt your butter and add that in, and actually you can add your butter and salt together. And I like to add about half of a tablespoon. I'm gonna put my butter away because it's actually better when it's cold. Here's your butter. Just pour it in here on top. And we already added our salt. Let me just put this one here. You're gonna set your mixer to between 1 and 3. I like to set mine on 1 for 10 minutes. Or if you wanna go faster, you can set it on 2 or 3 for 5 minutes. Or you can just hand mix it until the bread is not sticking to your hands anymore. So I had it on 1 and it came together in 5 minutes. Watch out, TT. Thank you. So this one came together faster. It's very thick. I don't know if this is the yeast. It doesn't usually come this thick that quick, but this is the bread right now. So you're just gonna clean it off of whatever tool you were using, whether that be your hook, the bread hook, or your hands. This is the dough. It looks so good and soft. So you should be able to touch it and move it, no problem. Now, if you want to add oil to it, you can. I'm gonna add, this is canola oil. I'm just gonna add enough, just like a couple drops. Because I use oil when I go to cut the bread out into shapes and the size that I want it. So just knead it in there a little bit. So you see, and you put it in there, and now you can lay this over. You can either do it in doubles or single, like this, and you can just set it here. If your house is pretty cold because you have the air conditioning on, I recommend you leaving it underneath right there, right here under your stove, and turn on the surface light on the highest amount, or in the microwave or in your oven, you can put it so that it stays warm and it doesn't the yeast doesn't go so slow. I recommend, if you want to do 2 loaves, then you need 2 of these. I only have 1, and then I also have like 4 mini ones. So I have 4 of these also. So half I used to put half in this one, and then the other half I would cut into 4 pieces, roll them into the dough, and put them in these 4 and make 4 mini loaves for the girls. But it takes a lot of time, and we eat the bread so fast. I have lately just been doing this regular loaf size, and then I will pick either to do hot dog buns, hamburger buns, or yeast rolls. And if you like to see how I do those, go check out some of the other videos. If I haven't already put them out, then they'll be out soon. And you use the same recipe for all of them. You just have to use a different rolling technique and a different time for baking. Now you just let your dough sit for 1 hour, and 1 to 2 hours depending on the temperature of your house. Look, that's a 10-minute timer. I'm gonna leave mine here for an hour. I'm gonna set a timer and then come back, and if it's doubled, then we will roll it out and do the next step. If not, we'll leave it longer. So I'll see you guys back in a minute. Okay, so the bread has risen, and I'm gonna try to be careful so you can see what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It has like tripled or doubled in size. And you're gonna set this off to the side. I clean my counters off camera. You need to clean the counters and make sure there's nothing on there. You don't want it to get in your bread. And then trust me on this, I figured this out on accident. I had spilled oil on the counter one day, and so I just put the bread on it and try to, knead it into that, and it helped the bread not be sticky. So since then, I have been just seasoning my counter. You can do like a tablespoon or 2, and then just make sure your hands are clean and rub it in the counter a little bit. And now you can just grab the bread out like that and just knead it a little bit. I like to do it like that and flip it over so the oil gets a little bit. This is when you can cut your bread in half, your dough. I like to use the smooth side because this side gets stuck sometimes. And I don't weigh it or anything. I just go by my eyes, and I usually pick the bigger size. They look pretty even. They look like the same. This one's heavier. I put this one to the side and then just knead the dough quickly. Do it again one more time with your hands. Flatten it out. Now you're gonna take 2 sides. You go 1, 2, and I like to do 3 in the middle like this. And now this time you want the shape. I use this to hold down the parchment paper. You can use just some oil or butter and flour over if you don't have parchment paper. I like to use parchment paper because I was using butter and oil for the first 2 months and the bread sticks every time. So this is just easier to slide it right out. So you want to have your pan in front so you can see how long it is. And so mine is kind of already the size it needs to be. Remember, this doesn't have to be perfect. So now you just want to stretch it a little and roll it. Doesn't have to be tight, just roll it. Don't worry about the edges. Don't worry about if the bread is not, you know, the same equal shape. And it just looks like this. I like to roll it a few times like this. And then just fold it down and pinch a little like this. And do the same thing on the other side. Just you're kind of like grabbing it like that. Uh-oh, this one came undone. Now I like to roll it one more time like this. You don't have to do all this extra. You can just do it, you know. You just kind of want to make sure that this is pinched in. Okay, so then now I just smack it and I put it in here like that. And now you set it to the side. Put your cloth over it like that and let it rest for another hour until it doubles in size. It's been about 1 hour and 30 minutes. You can just do yours for an hour. I had to do some stuff. This is how the bread looks. And you're gonna set your oven to 350 and then bake it for 28 to 30 minutes. It just depends on how you like your crust. And then there's the pan. It's like this. Perfect, right? It looks so good. I could have went for a little bit longer. I could have did the full 28 minutes, but it's okay. I'm gonna add this butter all around the whole crust. And I promise you, it feels really hard, like the bread is not gonna come out right. That's normal, it's very normal. I'm just gonna put a good amount of butter all around. So I'll come back and show you when the bread is fully cooled off. The bread is fully cool. Let me show you. This loaf is kind of shorter than usual, but it's okay. It must be the new yeast that I'm using. Also, I use these rotisserie chicken containers. I just reuse them from Sam's Club. Or you can use any container that you have. This one has like little holes at the top, just enough for airs, but not big enough for the bugs to get in. Or you can get a bread keeper. I'm just using what I have at the moment. I also used to use a plastic bag, or wrapping it in cloth isn't enough. Brown bag isn't enough either. The bread will dry out way too fast. So recommend a plastic container or a glass container, something that has some way for it to breathe. So maybe a cake keeper. I think that's what it's called. Anyways, you can cut the bread however thick or thin you want. Sometimes I cut it thicker if I'm gonna make French toast. And then I try to cut them thin if we do sandwiches. I usually cut the bread as we go, but today I'm just showing you. I might not be cutting that well. I'm sure you can use any knife, but using a bread knife will be easier. So yeah, just. Okay, I'm not gonna cut everything. This is the bread. Look how it looks. Just like sandwich bread from the store. It smells so good. Let me show you. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed the video and that you try this out yourselves. You won't regret it. Even the end pieces, very delicious still. I will eat these later. It just smells so good and makes your house smell like a bakery. Hope you guys liked the video and hope that you try out this recipe. God loves you. I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.